This video series will form part of the cultural background for the website thewaythetruthandthelife.net. I would like to talk with you about students evaluating professors at the university and the extension to students evaluating their high school teachers and high school teachers evaluating the administration that serves them. The conclusion from the experiences I will share is that there is a cultural unwritten law that those who serve in administrative positions evaluate those that they serve and refuse to have those evaluate them. I would just say at the onset, I have an auto insurance company for going on 20 years that evaluates the service of every agent call, and I've never had better service. My experience started when I was going to the university. I had 2 mortgages, a wife, 3 kids, and a dog. And I was very thankful to take a leave of absence from carborundum research and be able to finish a degree in mathematical physics. I spent a lot of time studying in the Science and Engineering Library at the State University of New York at Buffalo, the Main Street campus. The Amherst campus was just in construction at that time. That was in the 1960s. And the director of the Science and Engineering Library invited me to be on a student member of a committee that was developing a questionnaire process for students evaluating their professors in the Faculty of Natural Science and Mathematics. I was glad to participate in this, and we spent over a year going over the research on how to construct a questionnaire so that somebody with a bias could not automatically go through and check all the first answers or second answers or so forth. And it was very interesting. I learned a lot that was valuable for me as a teacher later on, a physics teacher. But the evaluation process was implemented. This was during the time of the Vietnam War, and there were riots on campus and all these kinds of things. But there were professors who were truly incompetent at their job, that the students couldn't learn. And this showed up clearly on evaluation, and it was used for a couple of years. And some professors got promoted that had been unable to get funding for their research and may very well have not gotten tenure. But they were excellent teachers and knew their area of that they were teaching. And others did not receive their tenure or did not get promoted because they were incompetent as teachers, as demonstrated by the student questionnaire. Now, this went on for a couple of years, and I was so gratified to see this, and I felt the improvement of the climate in my physics and math courses. It was a motivation for the professors who couldn't speak English to learn better also. Well, that was a threat to university professors as a whole. So the authority of the faculty senate was used to invalidate using these, to outlaw using these, not because they weren't valid. And they were only one of three parts. The three parts that went into consideration of tenure or promotion for a professor was student evaluation, one part, research publications, second part, and peer evaluation, the third part. Included in the publications probably was the element of ability to get support for their research. At any rate, the faculty senate destroyed all that work. And I was a teacher, then I became a teacher of physics at Sweet Home High School, and I implemented this process, and all was going along fine until I was elected senior building representative for the high school teachers, over 100 teachers, and the senior building representative was the one in charge of the Teachers Association for the high school. I and my colleagues worked to make a healthier school community, to involve parents and have openness and honesty. And I welcomed my students evaluating me as I taught physics. Well, when I openly confronted false statements by administration in open meetings, all of a sudden my evaluations turned negative by the assistant principal. And the criticisms that were made were invalidated by my student evaluations. So that made it hard for them, and it made it possible for me to go ahead as a teacher and keep confronting the falseness. I spent 22 years there. I was so thankful for colleagues like John Marvin, who was president, and Al Kolachaitzak, who was very active in students' rights and teachers' rights. But the point of this video that we realized that my evaluation and teachers using student evaluation was invalidated and blocked by administration. The thing that promoted the turmoil initially was that I wanted to have teachers evaluate faculty. You're in the classroom, teachers evaluate administration. Faculty evaluate those who serve them. I mean, such things as, the phys ed department was very functional in getting board members elected. And a setting superintendent would promote people from the community to be board members who he wanted, and he would get the phys ed director to support that. And then for the payoff for the phys ed was that phys ed got something like $20 per student for equipment, and teaching got physics, laboratory science got something like $5 a student. Of course, those would be different figures today because of inflation, but the same thing still goes on. The political manipulation, just like the administration used the athletic department and the soccer moms and soccer dads types would actively follow what they wanted, because the way New York State implemented its budgets, if a local community wouldn't pass their school budget and the taxes on the local taxes, the state ed department would shut down the physical education program as being non-essential. So the corruption went so far as they would even send school buses out to get students who were old enough to vote on the voting day, and they would advocate through all the sports support organizations who they wanted to vote for, and this was who the superintendent wanted. And for this, phys ed department had glorious funding. Well, I had the joy of being a representative, community representative to the 17 church charity. That I was a representative from the Unitarian Universalist Church to the Concerned Ecumenical Ministries of the Upper West Side. It was organized by the Industrial Areas Foundation, a Saul Alinsky organization, and it showed people how to empower themselves in the community. I had sold magazines door to door, all the way out to Wisconsin, a different city every week, and then another process where we went, I ended up all the way out in Denver. But I knew how to knock on doors and talk to people, which is necessary for organizing a community. And I was able to organize an after-school latchkey program that had failed the year before, so they elected me president of the 17 church charity. Had been organized by the Saul Alinsky organizers, 2x2 organizers that they sent out. This originated in Chicago with the help of the Catholic Church, and the whole process was to try and fight corruption and help local residents fight the corruption by grassroots organization. I worked in it, and the main goal of that organization, the first responsibility of every leader, was to train his replacement, because leaders come and go, but the problems persist. And the main idea was to find out what people were angry about, because they will get involved to do something. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the very same fundamental principle of why Jesus sent them out 2x2. Don't do it alone. Work together with someone else and find other people that are angry about the same thing. The Concerned Ecumenical Ministries of the Upper West Side, that 17 church charity that I was chairman of, did such activities as organize a group to go and confront the absentee landlord problem with building inspectors in the city of Buffalo. And we would plan a meeting with the city officials and go meet with them, and then we would debrief and figure out our next step. And we were able to overcome the corruption. Those wealthy people living in the suburbs and buying property in the low rent areas and not maintaining it. Dangerous and hazardous, and they would probably bribe the city inspectors. But we were able to bring enough political pressure to clear up that problem. This is an example of the kinds of things that the community organizing would do. But the purpose of this video is the simple statement that those who serve will not let you evaluate them. They will evaluate you. Your government officials evaluate you rather than you evaluate them, and manipulation goes on. Look at any administrator. Go get your driver's license. Go to the university. Go to the guidance counselor. Do you get to evaluate these people that are serving you and your children? Why don't you make a community group? The things that have co-opted you and taken away your power to care for your home and family and children and yourself, Get together with other people that have been deprived too, just like all the fathers that have been deprived of their children. Get together and confront the evil. Thank you. This video series will form part of the cultural background for the website thewaythetruthandthelife.net.